Do you know how to manage your wealth?
Welcome back, everyone, to the one and only Traders of the World, the show where we bring inspiring stories about the financial market and special guests. I am Matheus Massari, and with me, I have Flávio Lemos.
I'm Professor Flávio Lemos, president of the Brazil local chapter of the CMT Association, and also author of some books. We want everybody to travel the world with us. Please like it and subscribe to our channel.
So, Flávio, who is our guest today? Tell us more about him.
Of course, Matheus. He's a Venezuelan investment portfolio manager. He is also a CMT member. And without further ado, please welcome Mr. Juan Fernandez. Arriba, Juan.
Gracias. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. I do appreciate you guys considering me for being a memorable guest for your show, and happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Great, Juan. So let's begin. You are from Venezuela. So tell us about your beginning as a trader. Could you tell us how was life in Venezuela? When and how did you leave Venezuela and went to the West?
Everything started in about the financial crisis when all the financial news came out, and I was kind of curious about it. I was studying finance back in that time, but the problem was that the lack of knowledge that my country has in terms of finance. So, but when you talk about markets in general, nobody knows unless that you go like school or someone who's been traveling or has exposure to the markets. But back in that time, it was kind of rough. And I still remember that I started watching some YouTube channels to see what they had to say about the markets. And it's like most people started like with Forex account. That's the only one was allowed for Venezuelan citizens. We couldn't buy stocks because I wasn't part of the US back at that time. And so on this one, I decided to expand my knowledge in that regards. I applied for a student visa and I got to the US back in 2011. And I started studying the MBA program. So my knowledge increased like a 200% from being in zero to being like too much information. And those times where I have also friends colleagues from other countries, not only in the US, guys from Brazil, Russia, and in other countries around the world. And so I would summarize that's how I started everything.
And now about this Venezuela situation, do you consider this, I think that Biden suspended the sanctions of Venezuela. Could you tell us more about it?
Well, it's a little bit complicated situation because you're going to find people that support that decision. There are others that don't support it. So it's kind of tough. In my personal opinion, I believe it's a mistake because when you close the, politicals or everything related to politicians and you trying to sanction countries, I don't think that's the solution. And history has proven that it's really difficult for any other nation who's being sanctioned to move, and at the end the citizens inside, mostly all the people, not all the people but the majority of the people are going to suffer more on that regards. So I don't think it was a good idea, and I think it's time to find other solutions rather than just sanctioning a country.
You talked about MBA. So what did you study and how was your beginning in your financial career?
Well, when I had this idea of doing an MBA program, I remember that I talked to a friend who was in the program already back in Venezuela, but he was studying in Spain. So he's the guy who gave me all the, general information. So and then I started applying for different school of business, including England, Australia, and other countries. But at the end, There was one here in Minnesota where I live right now is the one who accepted my application, and I ended up here. And after that, I've been just stuck in Minnesota since 2011. I don't know how can I explain that, but some circumstances in life where you have to follow your heart and probably not your, because at the end everyone knows that New York is a capital, financial capital. And it's funny that this year was my first time in New York. Even though I became a US citizen in 2021, it's my first time that I visit New York in this year. So it's kind of, a little bit funny. But
And did you like it, New York?
I love it. Not for living, but for visiting, yes. Okay, you can just like a pros and cons of just being there. Like some things that you like, other things that probably you don't like. But when you try to, raise a family, it's probably it's not what I would like to see.
Yeah. And what kind of trades better suits you? Day trade, swing trade? Do you use futures or options?
Well, my current role, one thing is what I do for customers, and another thing that I do for my own account. So if you ask me for my personal approach, I would say more like swing trader, because also we have some restrictions with short trading, so we cannot do day trading like zero. So it's impossible, especially in the industry. When you talk to other people in the industry, they say you can't while you're working for a big institution. So with that being said, swing trading and long term is the one that I fit more in my objectives. So if I'm talking about more like a long positions where I spend months, probably years, I usually use more like a weekly charts or monthly charts. But for swing trading, which is, I would say, is 10% of my capital that I put on that risk, is probably more like an hourly charts or probably 4-hour charts. So the top down that I use for analysis to keep them, in certain consistency with what I do.
Well, you are a very close friend to Ralph Acampo, a technical analysis titan. Ralph was my tour guide in Washington, and he's an awesome guy. And I have a very funny story with him, because this year of 2023, we were at the CMT Symposium, and then they were autographing this book, the 50-year-old book of the association. And then he started signing my book, and I asked him, "Do you want my signature too?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" Look at page 169, and he saw my picture there. Okay, you can sign mine here. So it was very funny for him signing my book and signing his too. So how have you made? How did he help you in your career? Have you ever been to his famous bar?
Well, Flavio, if you would like to talk about Ralph Acampora, I can spend hours here. So I will try to summarize.
Okay.
The headlights, I met Ralph back in 2016, and it's kind of funny. The day that I met him, I didn't know who he was. So somebody told me, "You are sitting next to Ralph Acampora." So, okay, well, to me, it's just a guy who's talking to me. So I remember rushing to the bathroom and pulling my phone and look it up on Google. Oh, wow, this guy. And they came back,
He's
and I
a
was
titan.
more quiet.
And he's
Yeah.
He's
It was,
awesome. And he's
yeah.
he's a
It
awesome,
was,
awesome guy. He's very calm and he's very close to us. And talk to everybody. Drinks beer, drinks wine, and he's a great
yeah.
guy.
And no, and that particular year, the next year after I met him, we went to Venezuela, and I remember that I was the interpreter for him. he was doing some conference in English. I was the interpreter in Spanish. So my I blew my mind because this guy talks really fast. So can you imagine interpreter for him? It was kind of challenge. So, but I would say this: one of the main lessons that I learned from him is Ralph is a guy who can eat a lunch with you in Subway for $4, but at the same time, he's gonna enjoy it. The next day, we can have a expensive dinner over $1,000 in New York. He's gonna, have time to a good time with you. So he doesn't care about where he is. He just cares about who is around, what kind of conversations you're gonna bring to the table. If you had something to propose to him, he always challenge me every year to see what I'm doing for my country, for the CMT Association. And that inspired me because this guy is almost 83 or 84 years old. And he's still, and in answering your question, yes, I've been in his farm several times, at least 4 or 5 times. And I have a special video that I gonna share with you guys is where I have like a tour, a private tour. The different cycle from 1800 to 2020. That's the last chart that he has, and he's been putting a lot of effort. And also for the farm is what is inside of the barn. Has like a museum. So has a president cycles. He had a bunch of like cats where he's been in over, I think, over 100 countries. He has all that in that particular place. He has also horses, and it's just I feel blessed that I had the opportunity to interact with him. And many times also I live very close to him. I live 25 minutes away from him, and he sometimes comes to my birthday parties. We have developed a really good relationship to the point that the last meeting or the last time that I saw him, we didn't talk about the markets. We talk about other things.
Better.
So that's the level of friendship I have established with him.
Martin, remember me. I need to talk with Rolf too, and we have
yeah,
to film
yeah.
our interview there in the farm. So
Okay.
for our audience, could you to talk about the barn? It's updated charts on the walls. He painted.
Yes, I think the last year it was 2021. That's the last year that he painted. I don't know 2023, but
But
at least after
the
COVID,
beginning
yes.
is where's the beginning? The year.
I think it's 1800 or something. 18.
It's
It's like
awesome. Please share
like
the
a
video
down
and
theory. Even before down theory, he has chart before down theory, because
No,
I think down theory
friend, I
was like
saw that.
1900.
He showed me
Yes.
the pictures, and he has a big dog too.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
big dog there, and
He
the
the,
walls and the barn is too high. So he's an 83-year-old man
yep.
and needed a very high stair to get to
Yes.
the top to paint because of the Dow Jones. A lot of tops
Correct.
now, a lot higher highs.
Yeah, yeah. And he has a
And it has a scale. Like look at it sail or something like this.
yeah, no, it's amazing. You guys have to see it, because whatever I tell you guys is not gonna be the same if you're there.
Oh, nice. I hope I have the opportunity to know
Yeah.
the barn.
I mean, if you're in Minnesota, also live here, we can,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
That's
meet
all
up here.
I
And
film
there
there
are,
is interview local.
yeah, and also here is Craig Johnson, and there are like a 40 CMT here in Minnesota, 40 or 50 people. Yes, they live in the city.
So Juan, can you share with us your most successful and your worst trade and the lessons that you took from them?
I would summarize it because, as you know, we're dealing with this on a daily basis and a year basis. So I think when I started, I blew up so many accounts that I don't even remember how many, because back in that time, I thought that this is a piece of cake. It's so easy because you have a good trade. Could be like I don't know, 100% when a small account with the percentages are, you know, extravagance, and the same week you just lost everything. So like a normal, well, I wouldn't say like a newbie, you had that desire to accomplish things, but you don't know what you're doing. You can be even lucky. And that's what's actually happened to me too. I was a little bit lucky, but at the same time, just destroy my account for being, I don't know, 400% up, and then it's done. And if you ask me for the best ones, um, as a swing trader, I wouldn't say have like a one star rock stars because it is a combination of several good trades that can make the profits. So I don't believe in 1,000% in just one trade. You see what I mean? I try to be more realistic, the thing that I don't know about the market. So when it's time to invest, just do it. I don't wanna overestimate something that is on my favor. I don't know if you answer the question, but to tell you like a specific one, I don't remember or recall any.
But do you learn anything from your blow up accounts?
Risk management. And when I started my career at the bank, I started working in risk management for the same reason. And because and it's one of my critics to the CMT association, where the risk management module or program is not, in my personal opinion, is not enough. It should be more. And the books that are, you know there are not many books about risk management, and the ones that are available are complicated to understand it. So it's a very big topic that most people ignore, and they should pay more attention for sure. So that's why when I started working in risk management for the bank, I understood many concepts and how to implement, different strategies, and also a multiple strategy. How do you calculate for instance, the optimal fraction? That's a term that not most trader understand or know, or just a simple Kelly formula to things like everyone should know if you are considered trading or investment as a career.
Okay, Juan. So which tools specifically do you look at? Could you give me some examples using a chart? You can bring your charts if you want.
Um, I gonna be very simple. I'm not. Let's see if we can bring some of the examples that I use. Hold on 1 second. Um, just let me know where you can see it. So you see my charts or not. This is just trading views, not a fancy platform, Bloomberg or anything. FactSet is just want to show you something simple. And this is just the current S&P 500, where I have higher lows, and price action for me is the most important thing over anything else, because indicators like so many we have MACD, RSI, whatever you're gonna name it, you don't own those indicators, but you own price. You can understand the dynamic of the prices, and this is a very simple example. S&P 500, what it's doing is gonna get to the lower. If it reach these support levels, probably it's gonna go down, and that's the sentiment that the market is showing me right now, where S&P 500 as a main component that you can also see more like a sectors or individual stocks. For me, it's telling me something what the sentiment of the market is thinking right now. and And what else I can show you? If I'm gonna add up one indicator, probably is gonna be as an example that I like is RSI as one of my favorite ones. Also, for um, the bank, well, most banks use VWAP. I can show you a very specific example how I use it, but it is a very common tool that we use. And so you can see here.
Channel already. Brian Shannon gave us a class
Yes.
about
Yeah, the VWAP. Yeah. And it's everyone at least understand the banks use it. So for one reason or another, because also the large orders, you're gonna be, if it's above the VWAP or is it below the VWAP, it's time to adjust those large scale of orders and being trading every day. I don't know if that answered your question or
okay, that's it. And
yeah.
what is your personal daily routine?
Well, I would say this, and one of the things that we do as portfolio managers the day before is to be prepared for the next day. If you want to call specific routines. However, there are things that it can happen in the market that you probably are not prepared. So you have to be more reactive, like such as a big movement in the Fed or macroeconomic data or anything that you have
War,
to
war,
say one more time.
any war,
Yes,
any war.
whatever can happen. So you're like a soldier where you have specific routines, but you also have to be prepared for the worst if that happens. You see what I mean? Because we managing money. So when managing money, everything can happen. So you're not gonna just relax and sit in your chair and watching the markets. So I have a setup where I have tools to help me to schedule my day. Usually before the market opens, I see, volatility. I see what kind of what accounts are going to work in the day, and after the market starts is when the party is going on, and it's when you start making adjustment. And it could be a small adjustment, could be big adjustment, depends on the situation, but every account is different. So and that's how I start doing for all the market hours. Sometimes I had to skip my lunchtime because the market is still open. If you're busy, you have to skip it. You usually get your lunch after when the market is closed, and it's get more relaxed a little bit, and then you prepare for the next day. So like a more admin work when the market is closed.
And considering about this, which tips could you share with our audience considering wealth management?
So I would say this: just be prepared to fail, because that's something is going to happen. If it doesn't happen, someone is lying to you or you lying to yourself. So sometimes we forget that at the beginning, because when you look at the internet or anything, you just see impressive people doing amazing things, but they don't show you the other side. So I always say the same: so you're gonna start in this business, you have to be prepared to lose some money for sure, and understand the loss aversions, concept, all the things that are very important. And after, when you start understanding that, um, get some good education, do the CFA program or the CMT program, whatever program you think it can fit on you. Like my all my team, most of them are CFA, not CMT. So it's a little bit challenging because I'm in the path of the CMT. So to sometimes, discuss with them about something is challenging, but they respect my opinion too. So I would say go to these two programs that are like very standard and everyone knows, everyone respects. You earn one of these certifications for sure. You have something in your favor, on your favor. And after that, or in the same times, start, you know, making your own charts, start to try. I think it's one of the most hardest things for most people is to have your own criteria, because you're trying to follow someone else, or someone else is thinking about the charts or doing about investment, or I don't know, Warren Buffett, whatever you're gonna call it. But at the end, you had to have your own making decisions. You had to make your own decisions and try to customize everything based on what you believe and what your investment objective is, rather than just copy and paste someone else's work.
Nice. And Juan, for our viewers at home, where can they find you online? Do you have any social media?
Yes, I am on in Finance Venezuela. That's my Instagram account. On Twitter, I'm Forex Venezuela. I think that was one of my first social media that I have. That's why I put Forex up for no specific reason. But those are my on YouTube, Juan Fernandez. I have a small channel too, so you can find me on YouTube as well. That I have, interviews too sometimes when I have time.
Oh, nice. Everything is gonna be on the description. So,
Yes.
and can you name 3 or more books that you think are a must-have for every trader?
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask me that question, so I am prepared. And let me tell you this: I'm gonna name 2 books that probably most people or even don't know, or maybe they haven't read so far. So, and to me, as a more technical analysis guy, I would just put the third book as a more like a technical analysis. But the first book that I have, or the first one that I have here, is called Portfolio Management Formulas by Ralph Beans. I met Ralph Beans like 4 years ago, and it's one of the most brilliant minds in risk management that I ever met in my life. This guy is just amazing. He has several books, has like essays. He has a lot of experience. He's actually working for different hedge funds, but most people don't know that guy. I think everyone should read one of his book, and I think this one is like a mostly summarized what you're gonna see in other books. The second books that I have, and this is a special one because I read this book after meeting Jack Swagger. I met Jack Swagger, who is the author of the Market Wizard books. So, and we started talking about Edward Thorpe. I don't know if you guys familiar with Edward Thorpe, but he's a legend. He's definitely one of my role models in trading or options or whatever you're gonna name it. This guy, he beat all the casinos back in the 60s, or I believe was 70s, and then he tried to apply the same concepts in risk management in options trading. But when he started doing this, it was in the mid 70s, where options were like talking about Bitcoin in 2013. So as you can imagine, he was a pioneer. He has like 10 years ahead of knowledge that most of the people that were trading options. And I think he had a hedge fund for 20 years. And the performance that the hedge fund has, and that's based on Market Wizard's story on one of the books too from Jackson. He explained that I think the performance in the total performance was like a calculating the same distance from the Earth to the moon in terms of numbers. So it was like he retired early because he got bored. So like just give you the monies back to all the investors. He just, I think he was teaching, like, he is an amazing guy. So his book is called A Man for All the Markets by Edward Thorpe. That's my second book. And my last one, of course, the one that I when I read it the first time, definitely have something or bring something to the table that I was not even thinking about it, which is the technical analysis by the financial market of by John Murphy, which is classical book analysis. I use intermarket analysis, and that's a very powerful tool for anyone who wants to learn more about the markets. Those are my 3 books.
Thank you. Ralph Vinson was here. Our school, our company has more than 20 years. And 20 years ago, we brought Jack Schwager, Ralph Vince, Steve Neeson, Larry Williams. Ralph Vince used to work with Larry Williams, so we know each other a long time ago. And also Jack Schwager, and of course Joe Murphy. Greg Morris is a very close to us. He made an interview last week with us, and soon we'll be in the air too. So with that, we conclude this amazing interview with Juan Fernandez. Thank you, Juan, for your time and for sharing with us some of your
I'm going to
expertise.
show you this before you guys.
Oh,
Look
no,
at
please,
this.
final words. Your final words. Oh, that's
I don't know if you can see it. This was signed
Yeah.
by Ralph Acapora signed this. This is point and figure charts. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can share. Hold on.
Turn the blur off.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
it's a picture, autograph picture by Ralph Acapora. He made by hand. That
Yes. So hold on 1 second. If I can. I don't know how to turn it
probably
off.
I will
Yes.
call Ralph to paint my kid's room. Maybe maybe he agrees.
Well, anyway, I don't think I will send you a
that's not-
picture. Yeah. So basically, this is a charts. It was made by Ralph. Point figure charts. He started doing this in 1966,
No, man.
and he completed in 1984. It was a weekly. Is a weekly. He was like writing X and zeros or
It's by
O's
pencil, by pencil.
every week. Every week, that was the charts that he presents to. He signed it for me. This is New York
Awesome gift.
Exchange Utility Index. Yes.
Yeah, that's an awesome gift.
Well, I will send you a picture. I will send you a picture that you can have it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
But
I will call him to Rio and paint my kid's room. What do you think about that? Hey, Ralph, let's paint my room with the Ibovespa charts.
yeah, if you come here, for sure he can just give you one of those as well, because they have a lot of them, and he can sign it, and
Oh,
you can.
that's
Yeah,
great.
I frame it. I frame mine. Like what he gave
No,
me
I
2
will
years ago.
do that, and I bring some wine. He loves wine, so I
Oh,
think
he loves wine. Yes.
maybe a bottle of cachaça, if he wants.
Yes. Good wine and a good conversation is what you need with Ralph. Nothing else. That's it. That he was and he, of course, he has a lot of stories and many things that I don't want to share in on his behalf, but I would say this is a very interesting person for sure. It's like a dad for me.
Great guy and a great tour guide. He made this tour with in Washington, and he took us to all the places in Washington, to Lincoln Memorial, to the statue of the soldiers, all the memorial scenes, all the White House, anything. He was a wonderful guy. Yeah, he's a wonderful guy. Muchas gracias, Juan Fernandez.
Nice.
You
Thank
guys
you.
enjoy it? It was good.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And of course, a special thank you to all our viewers from all around the world. Stay tuned and subscribe for more content here on our channel. Until the next time.